All right, let's dive into Genesis chapter 46. This is one of those chapters where everything changes. We're about to see a single family, on the move because of a promise from God, take the very first steps of a journey that's going to turn them into a nation. So let's get into it, this incredible story of faith, fear, and a long-awaited family reunion.
Can you just feel the emotion in these words? This is where we start. Imagine. For over 20 years, Jacob, also called Israel, believed his favorite son was dead, torn apart by a wild animal. And then, bam! He finds out Joseph is not just alive, he's basically the prime minister of Egypt. His response says it all. It is enough. My son is alive. Nothing else matters. So, with that incredible news, Jacob packs up and starts the journey. But you have to understand, this isn't just a family road trip. He's leaving Canaan, the promised land, the very land God himself swore to give his grandfather Abraham, his father Isaac, and to him. That's a huge deal. It's a massive leap of faith. And you can bet he's feeling a mix of excitement and, some really deep-seated nerves. So where's the first stop on this journey? Beersheba. And this place is absolutely not an accident. It's not just some random spot on the map. This place is soaked in his family's spiritual heritage. I mean, this is where his grandpa Abraham worshipped God. And it's where his own dad Isaac built an altar because God had appeared to him right there. For Jacob, this is hallowed ground. And what do you do when you're standing on holy ground about to make the biggest decision of your life? You do what your fathers did. He doesn't just pass through. He stops and he worships. He offers sacrifices, which is his way of pausing everything and asking God directly. Am I doing the right thing here? Is this move to Egypt really your will? Before he takes his family out of the land of promise, he needs to hear from the God of the promise. And you know what? God shows up. In the quiet of the night, Jacob gets a vision. This is it. This is the divine confirmation he was so desperately seeking. And God doesn't beat around the bush or send a cryptic sign. He speaks right to Jacob, getting straight to the heart of what he's most afraid of. Listen to the very first thing God says. Do not be afraid. He knew exactly what was weighing on Jacob's soul, that deep anxiety about leaving Canaan. God tackles it head on. And then he gives the reason why. Don't worry, because it's in Egypt that I'm going to make you into a great nation. So this journey isn't a detour from the promise. It's actually the pathway to fulfilling it. And then it gets even better. God gives him this incredible two-part promise. First, I will go down with you. Just think about that for a second. God is saying, you're not going into this foreign land by yourself. I'll be right there with you every step of the way. And second, he says, and I will also surely bring you up again. Wow. That's the promise of the Exodus, right there in a nutshell. God is making it clear. Egypt is temporary. The promised land is still the final destination. And then, God brings it down to this deeply personal, incredibly tender level. He says, and Joseph's hand shall close your eyes. That's the ancient way of saying that your beloved son, the one you thought was gone forever, will be with you when you pass away peacefully. So in one vision, God has answered every single one of Jacob's fears about the journey, his family's future, and even his own life. He has total peace now. So, with that divine green light, the whole clan is on the move. Now, the story pauses here for what looks like, just a long list of names. And it's really easy to just skim over this part, but we can't. This is not just a list. This is the founding roster. This is the official head count of the family that is about to become the nation of Israel. So who are these people? Well, you have to see this as way more than a family tree. This is like the charter membership of a nation in waiting. Every single name listed here is a foundational piece, a seed that's about to be planted for a story of redemption that's going to unfold over the next 400 years. And you'll notice how carefully it's all laid out. The scripture breaks it down by Jacob's 4 wives, Leah, Rachel, and their handmaids Zilpah and Bilhah. This is showing us exactly how each branch of the family tree, stemming from the 12 sons who will become the heads of the 12 tribes, all come together to form this one unified whole. And the grand total? 70. 70 direct descendants. Now, in the Bible, the number 70 often signifies a kind of divine completeness or perfection. So this isn't just a random group of people. This was a complete, God-ordained family unit, perfectly sized to be the very seed of that great nation God promised back at Beersheba. Okay, now we get to the moment we've all been waiting for. the emotional heart of the chapter. After all the years of separation, after the promises from God, after the long journey, it's finally time. Jacob and Joseph are about to see each other again. Just try to picture this scene. Joseph, the second most powerful man in the entire Egyptian empire. What does he do? He doesn't send a messenger or summon his elderly father to the palace. No way. He personally gets his own royal chariot ready, and he travels out to Goshen to meet his dad. That single act tells you everything about his heart. It's an act of profound honor, humility, and love. He's a son first. The way the Bible describes the moment is so simple, but it is just packed with power. Joseph doesn't just greet him, he falls on his father's neck and weeps on him for a good while. Can you just feel the weight of that? 22 years of grief, of sorrow, of longing, all being released in that one long embrace. And Jacob's response, "Wow, now let me die, since I have seen your face that you are still alive." This is a man whose life is now complete. The sorrow that had shadowed him for decades is just gone. It's been replaced by a peace so profound that he feels his life's purpose has been fulfilled. He can finally rest because he's seen God's faithfulness with his own two eyes.
But Joseph isn't just running on emotion here. His mind is already working. He's thinking strategically. He immediately lays out a plan to secure his family's future. He'll get them settled in the best part of the land, Goshen. And he tells them exactly what to say to Pharaoh. "We're shepherds." Now, this was brilliant because the Egyptians kind of looked down on shepherds. This meant his family could live separately, prosper, and grow into a distinct people, which was God's plan all along.
And that really gets to the heart of it all. Genesis 46 is so much more than a heartwarming family reunion. It's the story of God, in his perfect providence, moving his chosen people into what was essentially an incubator. He placed them in Egypt, where they would be protected and nourished so they could grow from a clan of 70 into a nation of millions. He was setting the stage for the next mighty act in his plan of redemption, the great Exodus and everything that was still to come.